hope this works out. So I'm gonna go see Bharat ani Nenu. A lot of people have wanted me to see that and do the review, and I wanted to check it out last weekend, but I had to work all weekend and I just wasn't able to get to the theater during the week. And this is the only time that I can see it. Now, I had to cancel my live stream tonight, my normal live stream, and it's about 8 o'clock p.m. here, which means that, because my showing's at 9:45 p.m. I'm not gonna get home until like maybe 3 in the morning, but it's the only time I can see it because the next 5 days I work, and I wouldn't be able to get down to the theater because it's like an hour and a half away, depending on traffic. I could have seen the earlier showing at 6, but trying to drive through Denver during rush hour, because that would be during rush hour, would be super frustrating, and I don't know if I would get to the theater in time, depending on if there's an accident or something else. It can range anywhere from a half an hour of traffic, which would be nice, to like an hour. And so I didn't want to risk missing the movie, and I didn't want to deal with the traffic, so I decided to go to the later showing. It just means that I don't get home until like 3 in the morning. But oh well, you know, do what you gotta do. At least it'll be nice and cool outside, and there's a nice sunset going on. Look at that, that's pretty, huh? And I'll get to drive with that on my right as I'm going down. It's over the mountains. That'll be cool. On the way back though, it should be even better because there's not going to be anyone, at least not very many traffic at all, unless there's construction or something at 3 in the morning. I guess there could be construction. I don't know, we'll find out. But let's go to Bharat ani Nenu. Well, I got here in about an hour. That was nice. Traffic, not very much. I like driving at that time of night. It just sucks to get home at 3 in the morning. But I'm here. I think you can see it. I had to park far away. There are a lot of people here tonight, but I think all of them are here for Avengers Infinity War. I'm probably the only person here for Bharat ani Nenu. So, oh well. At least, I don't know how many people are going to be seeing it tonight. I mean, I really expect everybody to be going to Avengers Infinity War, since the movie's been out for a week already. I would be surprised if there's really anybody else seeing it besides me. A lot of times when I see an Indian movie in the second week, I'm the only one in the theater. But we'll see. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you afterwards.
A few moments later.
So I just saw Bharat ani Nenu. I liked it. I just did my Stardust reaction for it, and that went up. It's like 1 in the morning now. So hopefully I'll get home by 2, because I don't think there's going to be any traffic at 2 in the morning. Unless they decide to do road construction and force us off the road like the last time I tried to go home from this theater. Hopefully not, because that'll add another half an hour to my trip. But let's hope, cross fingers. You're right in the way, kitty. Meow, yeah, you're in the way. Oh. Finally made it home. And the drive wasn't too bad. It was about an hour, no traffic. It was a nice, that's what I like about driving at like 2 in the morning, is there's almost no traffic as long as there's no road, you know, construction, and there wasn't this time. So it was a nice calm drive with some music and the cool air coming in the window, and yeah, so it was a nice pleasant drive home, thankfully. And even though it's 2 in the morning and I should probably go to sleep because I got a collab in the morning and I got to work tomorrow, but I really want to talk about the movie, so I'm going to do my review. I got some coffee going in the background. You might be able to hear it. I don't know. I can hear it. Sometimes that comes over the microphone, but got some coffee going. I'll do a little bit of research on some things that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll get into the review. So hopefully you saw the Stardust review. I put that up right as I was leaving the theater. I hope that's a nice enough surprise for you guys to explain why I didn't do my live stream tonight, because I had posted that I couldn't do one, and this is the reason why. I was driving down to Denver to watch the movie. So let's get into this review. Yeah! Hey everybody, Koricon here, and this is my review of Bharat Ani Nenu, starring Manish Babu, written and directed by Siva Koratala. Now this is going to have some slight spoilers in it, because there's some things that I wanted to talk about, so if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and watch that first and then come back and check out my review. This is the story of Bharat, who's a highly educated man that comes back to his hometown after his father dies, and he doesn't want to become in politics, but he kind of gets pushed into it and ends up changing a lot of things for the good. It's more of a kind of like a superhero of politics kind of film. There was a great saying that I don't know where I heard it from, but I love the way it sounds. Is basically the people that seek out power should not have it, and the ones that don't want it are usually the ones that should have it. And this is basically what this movie is about. He doesn't want power, he's not looking for power, but when he gets pushed into power, he uses his power for good. And then the other people that had the power don't want to lose it, and that fear is what causes them to, you know, fight him and go up against him, and he's got to fight against that, which makes him more of a superhero for the people, that he's doing all of this stuff to help the people. And what I liked about it was the first thing that he does when he hits office is he increases fines to try and fix traffic. That was an unconventional way of setting a tone for his politics in the film. He's not one of those unrealistic characters that is going to go out there and, you know, everybody gets something for free and, you know, all of this unrealistic stuff. He does something that is actually realistic, that actually would help people by helping the traffic problem. Even though people wouldn't like the fines, he makes a great argument in the movie where he says, well, they don't have to pay the fines as long as they don't do that, which makes perfect sense. Don't break the law and you won't get the fine. It's not like he's forcing people to pay this money. You don't have to drive badly. So my favorite part of the movie is the fact that he is doing realistic things and all of his arguments are very logical and backed with intelligence. And I loved that. I loved that a lot. It made the movie grounded, even though he was more of a superhero type person. You know, you're not going to have someone like that in government, but he is like a hero of the people. And that's what the whole movie is about. You know, there's a lot of movies like that. One that I reviewed last year, which is right over here, Mudhalven. Similar kind of concept, totally different movie, but in that one he gets power for one day, and then the stuff that he changes in one day is irreversible. And it's the same kind of thing with him. Like, people get a taste of what it's like to have somebody fight for them, that when his power gets stripped, then people fight to get him back because they see how much better it was with him. And it's very much of what happens when a regular person that is very intelligent, but a regular person that is not involved in the corruption of politics and is an outsider, what do they do when they gain power? Well, they're going to do things that will fix what it is that annoys them or what they don't like. And one of the other things that they did is he wanted to have the local villages determine what the money that they get every year is going to be used for. instead of trying to have committees on a large scale decide what every village needs. Have the village decide for themselves. And that's very much the kind of politics that I believe in. Like here in the United States, I want the states to have more power than the federal. And it's the same kind of thing that he's arguing, is the money should really go to what is needed in every village. And who knows better than the people that live in that village? So give each village a certain amount of money. I think it was like 5 crore every year. And then they decide what they want to do with it. If they need a hospital, that's what they build. If they need roads, they do that. But they would know better what to do with that money than somebody that doesn't live there. At one point in the film, he's actually talking to the people through a camera at a press conference. It was a great scene. I loved that press conference. But he says to the camera, "You are the reason why the politics are this way. You need to fight against the politics." He had a thing with his girlfriend and they reamed him for it and kind of pushed him out of power. And he said, if you had that kind of conviction that you had for this meaningless thing, if you had that conviction for politics, then you would not be in the situation you're in. And it was kind of like an eye-opener for people like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, he's right. And it reminded me of a quote from Plato that goes, one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. I always loved that quote, and it matched exactly with those kind of sequences in this film. So let's talk about some of the music that's in this movie. I had mixed feelings on a lot of it. Now, with the background music, I thought a lot of it sounded really good for the scenes that they were in. However, the music would cut abruptly when you went from scene to scene, so the editing didn't flow very well for some of that. But when you're in the middle of the scene, the music sounded and worked very well. It was more of a symphonic, but a smaller amount of musicians, and it sounded great, and it worked very well for the tone that they were going for in every scene. I just thought the flow between the scenes was too abrupt in the edits, especially with the music. That could have been done better. When it comes to the songs that are in the film, you have kind of the main theme song, which is just Bharat Ani Nenu. I liked that one. I thought that one was very well done. Another one was O Vasumati. I'm sorry if I pronounced these wrong, but I liked that one too. It was more of a kind of a love montage type of music. And that one was a pretty good song as well. My favorite, though, was during the festival, and that one is called, and I know I'm going to slaughter this one, but bear with me, Vacha Adayu Sami. I hope I said that one right. But it takes place during a festival. He had gone to this town. He had helped them out. They were stuck there because they couldn't take the helicopter out because of the winds, and then they asked him to come to their festival that they were doing. Now, one of the things I love about Indian movies and India in general is they love their festivals. Indians love to celebrate, and I love that. It always sets up a great excuse to have a big, colorful, happy, dancing song in any movie. All you have to do is say there's a festival, and it's a great excuse to have a nice, beautiful song and dance sequence. And it was the same in this movie. You had really great colors, everyone was dancing, very energetic song, and that was my favorite one of the film. I really enjoyed that one. Now, there's a couple that I didn't like. I'd Kalia Vanade. That one was the kind of love dream sequence, and it was okay. The music sounded all right. I'm not a big fan of music videos that are dropped into the film, but it did, they did set it up that it was her dream. It was her thinking about it. So that was okay. But I thought the song was just all right. I felt kind of bored through the song and was just ready for them to move on, but I didn't mind it as much. Now, the first song in the film, I Don't Know, was horrible. I hated that song. It sounded bad. The lyrics were highly repetitive, same word over and over and over again. And it was right in the beginning of the movie. Now, the one good thing that came out of that song was that because it was right in the beginning, like the second scene, it brought my expectations really low for the rest of the film. I was really bored and just waiting to get through it. And the whole time I was thinking, oh, please, I hope the movie is not this bad, because a lot of people have been telling me that it's a good movie. And luckily, because it had brought some of my expectations down, I was able to breathe relief as the rest of the movie was good. But if I had it my way, I would cut that song out immediately. If I had control over the Blu-ray or the DVD release, I would cut it before that. Like, I did not like that song at all. Nothing about it that I enjoyed. This was a masala film, so it had a mix of everything in there. You have your love story, you have your main story, you got your song and dance, and you have your action stuff. Now, the action in the movie, when I saw the trailer, I thought seemed a little too silly. And the one scene that I thought was too silly was where in the trailer he had the guy over his arms like a backpack and he was walking with him. And I thought that was silly. But in the context of the film, I actually liked that whole sequence. That fight sequence, although over the top, really matched the tone of the frustration and the fact that he is protecting this other guy. And so you really enjoyed the fact that he was beating all these people up. Like, it felt good. You were rooting for him. So I liked that sequence. The other sequence that they had, I wasn't a big fan of. He had some rebar with cement on the end, and he's swinging it around like it weighed nothing and hitting people in ways that would kill them. But it was, I don't know, I didn't get the same sense that I did in the other action scene. Like, you didn't feel like you needed to root for him. It was more of he was trying to stop some people that were trying to kill him. But the good thing in that sequence was you see all of these people like coming together and you're like, oh man, he's in trouble now. There's a whole bunch of people. And then they go right past him and start attacking the attackers. I loved that moment because it was the people coming to protect him instead of him protecting the people. It was a great switch over moment, and I was happy with that. I was like, yeah, take him out. So I liked that fact that the people came to protect him. Leading up to that action sequence, they had a small car chase. Wasn't a big one, but the cars were sped up. So the film was sped up, and it looked really off. I didn't like that. I would have much preferred that they do a normal high-speed chase and just filmed it properly. Instead, it looked funky because everything was just moving faster than it was supposed to, and it was just in fast motion. I didn't like that part. Overall, I really enjoyed the film. I especially loved the intelligence and the political aspects of it, that they did not treat the audience like morons. They had intellectual conversations. Things made sense. The things that he was doing were realistic. I loved all of that stuff. Some of the songs I would have cut out, definitely cut out that I Don't Know song. I don't even know why it's in the movie. The action was, half and half. Some of it was good, some of it wasn't. So I was kind of in the middle on that, but I enjoyed it anyway. I am going to give Bharat Ani Nenu a B. I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time. We were about half full at the theater, which was great, even a week later. And it was the last showing. I mean, it didn't even start until like 9:45 p.m. and we still had half a theater. And I know it's making a lot of money, so that's really good. I like seeing that. But one thing I need to mention, so people come to my reviews because they want to know a foreigner's point of view of an Indian film. What do people in the United States would think when they see the movie? One of the big things that needs to be corrected before you get a lot of Americans watching Indian movies, this has to be fixed, are subtitles. The subtitles in this movie were horrible. And I did not take that into account when grading the movie because it's not really the fault of the film. That's the fault of the distributor. All of the subtitles were white with no borders. So whenever something white came on screen, you couldn't read the subtitles. So there were many times where I'm trying to read the subtitles and I'm hoping somebody moves so I can get the letters. And it was very frustrating. They need to learn to put borders, black borders on your subtitles. I don't care if the subtitles are white, yellow, green, blue, whatever you want, color you want. Just put a black border around the subtitles. It's not that difficult. I do it all the time in my videos. So I know it's not hard, but they need to learn to do that. Until they do that, it's just going to frustrate people. It frustrates me, and I love Indian movies. But an average regular American that's going to go to an Indian movie for the first time and they can't read the subtitles, they're not going to want to watch another movie. So please, any distributors that are listening to this, anybody that does subtitles, put black borders on your subtitles. For God's sake, please do it. Please. I'm begging you. But what did you guys think? Comment below and let me know your thoughts on this movie. What did you like? What did you not like? I know some of my opinions are not going to be popular with some of you, and I understand that, but, you know, we'll have a discussion of it. Just don't get, you know, all angry and attacking. Let's have a normal discussion in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you in the next video.